A truth that almost no one will tell you. In social, what is really valuable is your ability to chat. How to improve small talk skills. Read a book in 10 minutes. Today we read and learn to chat. Have you ever had such an experience? A friend told you that you have been suffering from insomnia recently. You held it in for a long time and said, then go to bed early. I just said nothing. Meet the leader in the elevator. I clearly want to say hello, but I could only squeeze out a dry hello. Then stare at the floor numbers jumping the whole time. At company dinners, others are chatting enthusiastically. You hold your phone and pretend to be busy. I kept wondering how to join the topic. Sometimes even friends share interesting things with you. You don't know how to respond. I can only smile awkwardly. But today, I want to tell you a truth that subverts your cognition. Small talk is not a talent. It's a skill that can be mastered through practice. Learn the ability to talk without small talk. There is no way to success. This sentence may surprise you. But after you listen to today's content, you will understand why do those seemingly relaxed and natural conversations. Actually, it contains the code to change interpersonal relationships. This video is all about the dry stuff. Recommended to collect and watch repeatedly. First, we're going to bust 3 deadly misconceptions about small talk. These misunderstandings are like invisible shackles. The harder you try, the less you dare to speak. Misconception 1. You always expect perfect performance. Do you always speak before? I rehearse in my mind over and over again. Wouldn't this sentence be too boring? What if the other party doesn't answer? The author points out in the book, this excessive self-monitoring, it will make your brain anxious. It limits the ability to express. As he described in the book, people who are not good at chatting always judge others by your own standards. So will it be immediately? Decide what you want to say. Small talk is like a walk, not a sprint. You don't need to calculate every step precisely. Misconception 2. You place too much emphasis on the immediate results of chatting. Many people chat while always thinking, I want to get to know him through this conversation. I need to get useful information from him. This kind of utilitarianism will make you unconsciously tense. After the author has met more than 1,000 successful people, discover relationship building that really works. Often occurs in aimless conversations. The book talks about vulgar gossip. Maybe its content is not worth mentioning. Seemingly meaningless. But it is these seemingly purposeless words. Only then did the goal come true. You have to remember, the value of small talk lies in the process itself, rather than timely returns. Misconception 3. You mistakenly believe that silence is safer than saying the wrong thing. In fact, in social situations, deliberate silence will put pressure on the other party. There is a very vivid contrast in the book. A person who is good at small talk makes it easier for the other person to talk to you. People who are not good at chatting, it will make the other person unwilling to talk anymore. Your concerns about saying the wrong thing. In fact, it is more harmful to interpersonal relationships than silence itself. When you get out of these misunderstandings, we will build the 4 core pillars of small talk. This is the most essential part of the book. It is also the key to make you go from not daring to talking to being able to talk. The first pillar is true listening. Don't wait for the other person to finish speaking, but to understand the other party's unspoken needs. The author emphasizes in the book, the essential characteristic of good small talk is understanding. Listening here is not just silence. Instead, you should listen to the other person from beginning to end, rather than interrupting the other party. A practical trick is to repeat the other party's keywords. For example, when the other party says that he is learning baking recently, you could respond that learning baking sounds interesting. Are you just starting to try? This kind of feedback makes the other person feel valued. The book says repeating each other's words. It makes the other person feel that we are listening to them carefully. The second pillar. It is the communication rule of affirming first and then responding. This is the technique that I spent the most time on after reading the book. It makes the conversation flow smoother almost every time. The author states this rule in the book, The Master Key to Small Talk. He found that 90% of conversations were interrupted It's because one side directly denies the other side. For example, the other party said, "I think the latte in this coffee shop is delicious." The wrong response is that it doesn't taste good. Too sweet. The correct response is, "This latte is really rich." Express affirmation, "But I prefer a little bitter." Do you usually drink sweet coffee? This extends. Here we should pay attention to. It's definitely not against my will. It's about affirming the other person's feelings or facts. The book also mentions 3 levels of affirmation. The first level is to affirm the facts. For example, there is no traffic jam on your way to work today. So lucky. The second level is affirmation of feelings. For example, working overtime so late. You must be very tired. The third level is affirmation of value. For example, you can persist in reading every day. Really self-disciplined. The higher the level, the easier it is for the other person to feel your sincerity. The third pillar is to cultivate curiosity about others. Many people say there is nothing to talk about. In fact, it is because you are not curious enough about the person in front of you. The author says in the book, everyone has their own story library. If you're willing to ask, you can open this treasure trove. Here is a list of curiosity questions recommended in the book. Especially practical in this matter. What do you think is the most interesting part? To how did you come up with the idea to do this? 3. If I could do it again. Which part would you like to adjust? For this thing makes you think. Did you recall any past experiences? For example, when you talk to a stranger about your love for traveling. There is another curious point in the book. The heart is not to check the household registration, but care about the other person's feelings. For example, don't ask how much you earn a month. It's a privacy issue. Can I ask you to do this job? What is the most fulfilling part? It's a matter of feeling. The former will make people alert. The latter will make people willing to share. The fourth pillar is learning to relax and enjoy the process. This is the pinnacle of small talk. The author says in the book, the best state of small talk is to forget that you are chatting. Focus only on interacting with each other. He recommends a free association exercise. Start with a simple topic. For example, the sun is shining brightly today. Then I thought of drying the quilt. Thinking about the quilt that was dried yesterday, there was a sunspot. Then I thought of the quilts my grandmother used to dry when I was a child. No need to deliberately control the direction of the topic. Let ideas flow naturally. Many people worry about what to do if the topic goes off track. But the book says, small talk has no right direction. As long as both parties are willing to talk, you can talk about anything. For example, you and your friends chat about everything from the weather to your childhood toys. Seemingly off track, but I can talk about a lot of memories. It makes the relationship closer. Mastered the core pillars. Let's learn advanced techniques for dividing scenes. The focus of small talk in different scenarios is different. Find the right method to achieve twice the result with half the effort. The first scene is the first meeting. For example, the conversation after the interview. New colleagues joining. Strangers introduced by friends. Recommended safety topics in the book. Add a combination of personal details. Safety topics include weather, surrounding environment, shared experiences. For example, there are a lot of people in the waiting area for the interview today. Keep personal details lightweight. Don't be too personal. For example, you can say that the weather is very hot today. I went out this morning and bought an ice cream. It melted after just 2 steps. It's a small personal detail. What do you like to eat to cool down in the summer? This is a special reminder in the questionnaire. Don't talk about your values when you first meet someone. Sensitive topics such as income and relationship status. As he wrote in the book. First chat. Like peeling an orange. Go layer by layer. Peel off the outermost layer first. Then slowly eat the flesh. The second scene is daily work. For example, the tea room. Small talk during lunch break or overtime. The key to workplace small talk is not to gossip. Don't talk about negative things. Talk more about light things. The author gives an example in the book. My colleague said that the project is very busy recently. You can say yes. I also worked overtime until 8 o'clock yesterday. This is empathy. But I found out that the convenience store downstairs from my company has new rice balls. It's quite delicious. This is a light topic. Have you tried it? This not only responds to the other party's work status, you won't fall into the negative emotions of complaining about your work. The book also has 3 principles for workplace small talk. Do not comment on colleagues' work ability. Do not discuss leadership decisions. Do not spread unverified news. The purpose of workplace small talk is to bring people closer together, not creating conflicts. The third scene is a family gathering. For example, visiting relatives during the spring festival, family dinner. Many people dread family gossip. Because I'm worried about being asked how much I earn. When to get married. The book recommends tips for actively guiding topics. For example, a relative is about to ask why you don't have a partner yet. You can speak first, Auntie. I heard that your child recently passed the 10th grade piano exam. It's amazing. Take the initiative to talk about the other person. How long has he studied piano? Is it particularly hard? Change the topic from yourself. Transfer to the world that the other person cares about. The author says in the book. The core of family chit-chat. Pay attention to the other person's pride. Everyone likes to talk about their achievements or good things about family members. Chat in this direction. Naturally, it won't be cold. Next, we solve the 3 most common practical problems. These are what I encountered in practice. The methods in the book can be easily resolved. The first problem. How to deal with commitment. Many people panic when the atmosphere becomes dull. Actually, it's normal to be cold. The key is how to block the topic. There are 2 techniques in the book. The first is the environmental introduction method. Look at your surroundings. For example, look at the decorative painting over there. It seems to be in the style of Van Gogh. Do you know how to draw? Love is the connection of memories. Think about the topic we just talked about. For example, right? You just said you like hiking. I remember climbing Mount Tai last year. Get up at 4 a.m. to watch the sunrise. I got up late and missed the class. This is about sharing yourself. Have you ever had a similar experience? The author says in the book. A pause is like a small pause in a conversation. Not the end. It's an opportunity to adjust the rhythm. The second problem. Responding to topics you are not interested in. The technique given in the book is to pay attention to the other person, rather than the topic itself. He said in the book, don't think about what the other person mentioned in the topic, but to think about the other person. This way the thinking won't stop. You're not interested in football. I can also ask you if you get excited when you watch the game. Shift the focus from things to people. The third problem. How to end a conversation without being awkward. Recommendations in the book. Adopt a positive feedback and future-oriented approach. For example, it's very interesting to hear you talk about these things today. I hope to hear more from you next time I have the chance. I'll take care of some things first. This way of expressing gratitude. The intention to end was made clear. Will not make the other party feel abrupt. Finally, let's make a summary. Linking the core ideas in the book together. The author repeatedly emphasizes in the book. The essence of small talk is not what to say. It's about making the other person feel valued. You don't need to be a chatterbox. There's no need to say anything wonderful. Just do these 3 things. First, listen to make the other person feel that you care. The second use will definitely make the other person feel that you understand me. Third, and curious to make the other person feel that you want to know me. Do these 3 things. You'll become someone people want to talk to. Now I want to invite you. Take a 21-day small talk challenge. The first day starts with a sincere greeting. Tell your colleagues that your hairstyle looks very smart today. For the first week, try using affirmations every day. Dialogue in a responsive manner. In the second week, practice actively sharing your little things. Record 3 successful small talk experiences in the third week. Just like what the book says. The less good the team members are at chatting, the more you say hello. Change starts with small actions. At last, end today's reading with a sentence from the book. People. I feel for people who understand my inner feelings. Feel free to open your heart to them. When you really learn to use small talk, when conveying kindness and understanding, you will find that not only your interpersonal relationships become smoother, the whole world will be gentle to you. Starting tomorrow. Be a willing listener. Know how to affirm. Stay a curious chatterbox. You will get unexpected surprises. Willing. We are all on the road to becoming better versions of ourselves. Going further and further, until the light shines brightly. I wish you all the best. If you think today's content is helpful to you, don't forget to follow and collect it to read repeatedly. I will share more next time. Good books and methods to improve yourself. See you in the next book.